to ONNPoint. On this edition of ONNPoint, we will be talking about real estate, home financing, and much more. We'll be back right after these commercial breaks.
Welcome to the Machine Shop, our historic venue and gathering place for friends and family. Built in 1899 on the site of a Northwest Company trading post. Today we are a go-to venue hosting many expos, concerts, weddings, and more. While you're here, choose one of our dining experiences. Enjoy a quiet dinner at the Mill Steakhouse and Wine Bar, watch a game and try wood fire oven pizza and local draft at the Boiler Room, or treat yourself every day to gelato and local coffee at the Gelato Mill. For more information on the Machine Shop, visit machineshopinc.ca.
At 4:45, discover all kinds of treasures and never pay more than $5. Inventory is restocked every Saturday, and you can find anything from electronics to household items, toys, and much, much more. On Saturday, everything is $5 and the price goes down throughout the week, ending with 25 cents on Friday. We restock weekly with new items from various big box stores, so you never know what treasures you can find. Come visit us at 4:45, 2510 Ashman Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
Have a great business idea but don't know where to start? Need help taking your business to the next level? C2C Business Services can be your guide in navigating the path of entrepreneurship, with services ranging from grant funding support, access to service experts, market information, and helping your business adopt new technologies to create and foster a culture of innovation for ongoing success. Call C2C Business Services and let them be your first step in taking your entrepreneurial dreams from concept to commerce. C2C Business Services is a division of the Sault Ste. Marie Innovation Center.
Welcome back to the show. Today's show, we're going to talk about real estate and financing and all that good stuff. Real estate is an important component to any city, and Sault Ste. Marie is no different. And it's a thrill to welcome Kristen Trembrinsky. She is the broker of record for Exit Realty, and this lady knows real estate. Kristen, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Andy.
What about a little bit about yourself, your role with Exit Realty? You built this realty company into a very dynamic company. Tell me a little bit about that.
So my role with Exit Realty Lake Superior here in town is I'm the broker of record and co-owner. So we run a team of 35 sales reps here in the city, and I personally have been in the business since 2006. I came into the business kind of unexpectedly, but I definitely wouldn't change a thing. My father brought the brokerage here to town. Exit Realty is actually a franchise, which many people don't realize. We're all across North America and one of the fastest growing real estate franchises out there. I'm also involved in sales, of course. I'm sure some of you have seen my face around town. I do listings and run with buyers as well. And on top of that, I'm the regional owner of Exit Realty Northern Ontario, which is a territory that spans basically from the Manitoba border all the way to Barrie. And so one of my responsibilities with that is to sell franchises. So we're really looking to grow the brand in the north and open up offices in all the major areas and even in the small areas too, but you know, really looking at Thunder Bay, Timmins, North Bay, Sudbury, and essentially taking the model that we've built here in the Soo and replicating it to other areas.
That's wonderful. She's the broker of record, folks. That means she's the boss in this process. Let's talk about Northern Ontario and franchises. What are some of the challenges to selling franchises?
Well, to be honest, it's a fairly new position for me, so it's completely different from selling homes, of course. It involves a lot of prospecting, a lot of follow-up. It's much more time consuming and a lengthy process to sell a franchise. But the most exciting thing for me is that I've successfully, alongside of course partners that I've had, my partner currently is Jamie Cochamilio. He's amazing, and my brother also was involved in ownership of the business. But we really took the model that we have and we built it. Went through all the ups and downs, made some mistakes, but did a lot of good things. And so I have that, basically that experience behind me to be able to really speak to potential franchisees and help them with the process of getting a business started. So it's not just selling a model, it's also, I essentially operate as a mentor to the franchisees. So.
What would you say, Kristen, that's contributed to the success and growth of your business as such, both here in Sault Ste. Marie and selling franchises?
So I have to attribute the majority of our success to our extraordinary team. They're absolutely an incredible group of individuals, professionals. They essentially, as a business owner, as a young entrepreneur, you do have to be fairly fearless and take some risk, which I definitely did back in the early stages, and we still do to an extent. But we really have a model that's built on the individual. So we've taken real estate and instead of focusing on the numbers, we've really transitioned that and we focus on the individual. And if we grow to build each and one of our individual agents and they succeed, the team as a whole will succeed. So that's a huge part of our success, is really the training that we've put in place. So traditional real estate back in the day was, oh, here's your license, get out and sell some houses. We look at it as each individual is essentially building their own small business within the business, and it's important that they treat it like a business. So we do business planning with them, financial planning. We assist on all those sort of ground levels of them starting and building their business. And then that leads into prospecting, training on listing presentations, everything that you need to do in your day-to-day to build your business as a realtor. So I think that in itself has made the team a large success. Branding, marketing, we have a lot of fun with that. I don't know if you've seen our bus around town.
Yes.
That's our sort of most recent exciting adventure. Technology, of course, being a franchise, we have all the technology tools that we possibly could give to our agents, and then we teach them how to use all of that technology, which is such a huge part of it. And then mostly, I would say as well, it's our culture. So we've built a culture that's much like a family. The business stemmed from a family business with my father starting it, but each and every one of our sales reps and brokers within the office are like family to me. So we support one another, we encourage one another, we build each other up, share ideas, share what's working, what's not working, and really operate as a solid team.
Wonderful. That's really impressive, Kristen. And what you're saying basically is the support of all your agents is really important over and above just people taking the real estate course and then that's it. You're an agent and you go. You need to support your agents a great deal more.
Absolutely, and really, it's for most people, that's all it's about, is that they want to be a part of something. They want to feel a part of something, and I feel as though we really offer something special in that regard. So,
tell me briefly what your day looks like in a day in life of a realtor, broker, and an owner.
So it's a roller coaster for sure. No day is the same, which is what I love about the business, about ownership, dealing with people. It's really the real estate business is simple. It's essentially building relationships that's what it's all about. And if you get good at building relationships, there's no question that the sky's going to be the limit for you in the real estate business. So there's lots of emotions. We actually do a lot of training within the office on personality profiling, because we deal with all kinds of different personalities, right? You can imagine. And then lots of emotions. Like when I say it's a roller coaster, there's all kinds of reasons why people buy and sell real estate, and a lot of times it's a very exciting time, and a lot of times it's, you know, a difficult time. So we really focus on learning how to deal with different personality types and people's needs. So that I find it's a rewarding business. This business is, like I said, no 2 days are the same. So as far as an agent goes, they prospect, they take listings, they coordinate. There's a lot of negotiating. There's a lot of, you know, market values and that kind of thing. As a broker, the majority of my day is focused on training, answering questions. As the broker of record, I'm responsible and liable for all of the transactions that run through our office. And in a year, you know, there's 800 plus transactions running through the office. So it's there's a lot of files crossing my desk, and but that part of it, again, I find interesting, and I'm always learning. There's different scenarios that we deal with every single day. So yeah.
Wonderful. And a realtor provides value to buyers and sellers. The person that thinks they can sell their house privately is mistaken. Can you speak to that a little bit? What kind of value your company would provide to buyers and sellers?
So a lot of the value is from the beginning in terms of pricing the property properly. Pricing is a key in the market at any given time. So if essentially you price close to market value, your list to sale ratio is going to be really tight. If you overprice, the property is going to sit, and then you know, you typically will end up getting less than you would have had you priced it properly. So that's a huge educating sellers on pricing. In terms of exposure to the market, obviously we expose properties to the MLS system and market them, and most buyers today are working with a realtor, and a lot of times private sellers don't realize that buyers are nervous to deal directly. So essentially most of the buyers that you meet out there have signed what's called a buyer representation agreement, and they're working specifically with a realtor who's representing them throughout the transaction. So oftentimes you'll miss out on, again, the exposure and those potential buyers that don't necessarily want to approach you privately. Communication, liability insurance is huge. So in a private transaction, no one has or holds insurance, whereas as real estate professionals, we hold very strong liability insurance to bring us right through the transaction. So contract preparation, again, just there's so much involved in a transaction that people don't realize. So, Kristen,
you've been a delightful guest. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for coming in. And we'll be back with Randy Shuren from Scotiabank right after these commercial breaks.
Thanks, Andy.
Stopping and nothing, I'm up in your face, shaking it off, no matter the cost. I'm feeling the wind, I'm taking it all. I'm paving the way with the sweat and the blood. I'm at the top, rising above. I want the gold, give me the rush. Queen Midas, I got the touch. I'm pushing, I'm pushing, I'm pushing. 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 I'm pushing, I'm pushing, I'm pushing.
Housed in a 15,000 square foot custom manufacturing facility built to produce world-class cabinetry at surprisingly affordable prices, Great Lakes Fine Cabinetry brings your project from initial concept to final design. Proudly providing Northern Michigan and the Algoma region with quality hand-built cabinetry for the past 20 years. Located at 844 East 3 Mile Road, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, Great Lakes Fine Cabinetry, making your cabinetry dreams come true.
Mios is Canadian through and through. And to celebrate Canada's birthday, Mios is offering 20 to 50% off all Canadian-made furniture. Mios knows supporting Canadian jobs, Canadian ideals, and Canadian designers is the right thing to do. And saving you 20 to 50% is a great way to celebrate Canada Day. Now, more than ever, is the time to buy Canadian and to support your local stores. Mios Furniture Fashions. Service before and after the sale. 261 Trunk Road. Where else, eh?
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Listen to them. Children of the night. Alive! He's alive!
At Maitland Ford Lincoln, we see our trucks everywhere. We see them on Queen Street, Lake Street, North Street, Bay Street, 2nd line, 3rd line, 4th line, Pine Street, Great Northern Peoples Road, Wellington, Cora Road, Bruce Street, Carmen's Way, Northern Ave, Trunk Road. Folks come from all over Algoma District and beyond to buy their truck at Maitland Ford Lincoln. Amazing prices, outstanding service. King Street, Shannon Road, Goulet Bay, Black Road, Government Road, and even on Pine Shores. Yep, our trucks are everywhere. Get yours at Maitland Ford Lincoln, built for Northern life, on Great Northern Road, just north of the hospital.
Melly, did you know that the Bush Plain Heritage Center is celebrating 30 years this year?
Wow, great for them. Did you know that if you're at the Bush Plain Museum, that you're only 12 minutes and 7 seconds away from Maitland Ford Lincoln?
Really? Maitland Ford, it's closer than you think.
Welcome back to the show. Thanks for staying with us. My guest now is Randy Shuren. He's from the Scotiabank, and we're going to talk about mortgages and money and all of that good stuff that you need when you're buying a house. Randy, thanks for coming on the show.
Andy, thank you very much for having me.
Following Kristen, that's a tough act, buddy, but I guess somebody has to do it. How important is a pre-approval for a mortgage when somebody's looking out there wanting to buy a house and I need to get pre-approved?
Andy, that's very, very important and a very good question. What I like about the pre-approval process is you actually come in with the client and meet with them, and then you go through a vast array of their credit situation to assess what's the maximum that they can afford for a home. I see too often that people are going out looking for homes that are well out of their price range because they don't understand some of the mortgage legislation where you have to qualify at a higher rate. Even though you're getting a lower rate, the government has a stress test involved where it's at 5.34%. So you have to qualify for that mortgage at that rate, even though you may get 2.89, 3% for a 5-year fix. So coming into us, it'll save the realtor time when we can go back to them with proper information and tell them, this is what they qualify for, the $300,000 range, because my biggest thing is I don't want them to be house rich and cash poor.
Right.
And what I mean by that is they have this beautiful home, but with their property taxes, their insurance, and the mortgage payment, principal and interest, at the end of the paycheck, they have very little money for recreational activities. Let's not forget they have car payments involved. So I don't want to put anyone in a position where they're buying a home that exceeds what their paycheck's bringing in.
Right. That is a problem, isn't it? So essentially your relationship with Kristen is you're saving her time by pre-qualifying people that want to buy a house.
Absolutely. Not only pre-qualifying them, but giving them that price range. So now the agent has that information. They can go back and start doing some research. You know, the clients want a 3-bedroom home. They want it in the country. Well, she can pull that search up, he or she, the agent, and they can fine-tune it and say, okay, here's 4 houses we're going to look at. They're in your price range, and they're in your want list.
Great. The debt in Canada, the consumer debt, how much of a problem as the bank manager at Scotiabank are you seeing? Is that a problem for people that come into pre-approvals, that they're already taxed like they have 5 credit cards and they're all maxed out? Do you see that as a problem?
I'm not seeing that as much as educating the client what a pre-approval actually is. A pre-approval is, as of today, with your credit history, with your debt service ratios, you qualify for this mortgage, $300,000.
Right.
Please do not go out the next day and purchase, you know, a 2019 vehicle with an $800 payment. And like we spoke with Christian earlier today, that has happened more often than not.
And that throws the pre-approval right out the window.
Well, their debt service ratio goes up because now we have to include another $800 payment. And the client comes back to us and says, well, you told me I was pre-approved for $300,000. Well, that was minus the truck payment that you have now incurred. So, but overall debt load, I don't see a large increase in Sault Ste. Marie. I know there's been talk about the millennials in Toronto having difficulty buying homes and so forth, but in Sault Ste. Marie, with the, you know, average home I'm seeing in the $200,000 range, it really doesn't affect it as much. And with the stress test with the mortgage, the interest rate at 5.34%, it really doesn't play a key factor when the average mortgage balance is so low.
But the income level is important, whether we talk about Toronto, the millennials, Sault Ste. Marie, or pre-approval qualifying thing. The income level of what you've got is the most important thing to look at.
That's partially correct. The key, first of all, is the credit bureau.
Okay.
What is your beacon score, or what they refer to as a credit score? There's a misconception about that with many clients, that they think, well, I have a AAA rating. Well, there's a number attached to the rating. You know, something as silly as a cell phone collection or a PUC collection on your credit bureau, on a trade file, that could affect the total credit score.
Wow.
So if your credit score is not in the upper 600s, you're not going to qualify from the get-go for the mortgage, because, you know, the credit analysis says you have trouble repaying some of the payments you currently have. Why would we allow you to incur more debt? So the credit bureau is one factor, and, you know, the credit score has such a number of variances to it that compose that final number that people don't consider. One is credit utilization.
Right.
You take a credit card, and let's say there's a $4,000 limit, and you're at $3,900. Well, your credit utilization's at 98%. So the computer kicks back and says, wow, they're almost at their limit on a credit card. Whereas they have 3 other credit cards. If they would have split the debt amongst the other credit cards, the credit utilization wouldn't have been that high. So what I encourage people to do, try not to go over 50% of your unpaid balance on your credit card, but please, pay it off monthly. That is the best solution to
and you'll avoid a lot of headaches along the way.
Absolutely.
Let's get into your role as home financing advisor with Scotiabank. What's involved with that?
Well, basically, I'm what I consider myself a mortgage specialist. I've been in the finance industry over 30 years, started when I was very young. And what's key in this role is I only do mortgages.
Right.
The second key is I'm mobile. So consider it like flex hours. Saturday, it's not uncommon, and Sunday to see me at an open house, helping agents explain, you know, the mortgage process to clients. I've had a number of clients, you know, approach me and ask me, what are the rates? I haven't been pre-approved yet. Questions like that. So being a mortgage specialist affords me the opportunity to get out in the public and to meet them.
Right, so you're meeting the potential buyers right then and there.
Either at the open house, I've met them in their homes, I've met them in coffee shops, and certainly in my office. They're more than welcome to set up an appointment, but it's that service after the hours that I find critical. Many people today are run with work, with kids with soccer, with dance, with hockey. They can't get in traditional hours. Sunday I met 2 clients. You know, that's unheard of in the banking industry generally, that someone's going to meet and discuss mortgage options on a Sunday.
Right. So there's unheard of that you could go out maybe at 8 o'clock during a weeknight to meet somebody.
Absolutely. And with modern technology now, I basically do the whole application process on my iPad Pro.
Right.
So it's very slick, very slim. I don't have to have a printer. I don't need a scanner. I just sit down, meet with you. I can go over the mortgage options. I can take the application right then and there, scan your T4s, your income documents, your photo ID, and within a day, I can have an approval back to you.
Right. I've got less than a minute, Randy. Let's talk in our final moments. How important is a good credit score?
That's critical. Without a good credit score, you won't qualify for the mortgage. And it's good to sit down, if you feel your credit score is low, it's good to sit down with a personal banker and discuss, you know, what can I do to get it up? I've had some clients a year ago come to me for advice. I worked out an action plan for them to increase their credit score.
Right.
And they followed the plan by reducing debt, by eliminating some debt, and therefore their credit score picked up, 20 points, 30 points. Now they qualify for that mortgage. So sometimes they have the income, they just don't have the proper credit score to qualify.
It's an incentive to get there kind of thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely. It's setting a goal for them.
Randy, thanks so much for coming in. We've just scratched the surface, but real estate and what you do with Scotiabank plays a role, the key role, and both are important factors for our viewers to know. We'll be back right after these commercial breaks to wrap up the show.
With over 45 years of experience, All Ontario Well Drilling offers hydrofracking and all well drilling services. Call 705-575-8088 or 705-257-9495.
At Maitland Ford Lincoln, we see our trucks everywhere. We see them on Queen Street, Lake Street, North Street, Bay Street, 2nd line, 3rd line, 4th line, Pine Street, Great Northern People's Road, Wellington, Cora Road, Bruce Street, Carmen's Way, Northern Ave, Trunk Road.
Folks come from all over Algoma District and beyond to buy their truck at Maitland Ford Lincoln. Amazing prices, outstanding service.
King Street, Shannon Road, Goulet Bay, Black Road, Government Road, and even on Pine Shores.
Yep, our trucks are everywhere. Get yours at Maitland Ford Lincoln, built for Northern life, on Great Northern Road, just north of the hospital.
With 3 brands to choose from Kawasaki, Suzuki, and CF Moto, visit one of our 4 showrooms today and speak with our knowledgeable, friendly, and enthusiastic staff who will be happy to help you with all of your motorsports needs.
Enjoy life, enjoy the ride, Bud Robinson Motorsports.
Welcome back to ONNPoint. That's it for today's show. I wanted to thank my guest, Kristen Trembrinsky of Exit Realty, and Randy Shuren from Scotiabank. Kristen will be a regular contributor on this show as we deal more into the real estate and the listings, so stay tuned for that on future shows. I'm Andy Martins for ONNPoint. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.